Welcome to Your Business on Rave TV, and I'm always your host, Cindy Eze. Now, today we're going to be looking at unemployment. Unemployment in Nigeria has been a very big issue. The rates have continued to go up from about 6% in 2010 to about 23.1% in 2019. And of course, with the COVID-19 incident, it has continued to skyrocket. So we're going to be looking at the challenges of unemployment in Nigeria. Why has these rates continued to be what it is? What is the government not getting right? What are the people not getting right? And to discuss this with me in the studio is Ms. Queen Inuwa. She's an economic consultant and analyst. So she'll be joining me later in the segment to look at some of these issues and how they can be tackled. Also, we have a chef in the house to discuss some issues concerning cooking. Now, Chef Emeka decided to go into cooking. So we are going to be talking with him to find out why he decided to do this and what he has been able to achieve with cooking. Some of the dishes he has been able to put through are mushroom sauce, turmeric vegetable pasta with steamed chicken, and so many others. He has over 365 dishes that he put together on his own. So we're going to find out how he was able to achieve all these feats immediately after the business news. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time for business news on Your Business. Credit to economy rises to 10% to 39 trillion naira in 5 months. Credit to the economy rose by 3.5 million naira in 5 months to 39.1 trillion naira in April 2020 from 35.5 trillion naira in November last year. The Central Bank of Nigeria, disclosing this in its just released Depository Corporation Survey report, also said that credit to the private sector recorded a significant growth of 2.27 trillion naira during this period, rising to 28.67 trillion naira and in April from 26.4 trillion naira in November last year. The report also showed credit to the government rose by 1.33 trillion naira to 10.43 million naira during the period. ECOWAS endorsed Okonjo-Iweala as DG of the World Trade Organization. The West African Regional Political and Economic Bloc, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has announced the backing of the candidature of Nigeria's former Finance Minister, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, as the Director General of World Trade Organization, WTO. In a possible step towards uniting Africa behind her candidature, ECOWAS has called on other African countries to support her as well. The regional body noted that since the creation of WTO on January 1st, 1995, no African country has been appointed the Director General of the organization. The ECOWAS chairman, who also doubles as the president of Niger Republic, in a signed document, asked other African and non-African countries to endorse her candidature. And finally, on the local scene, local savings ban helped reflate Nigeria's economy, stakeholders say. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, has canvassed the need for mobilization of local savings to help reflect Nigeria's economy post-COVID-19. Ahmed, who spoke during the inauguration of the National Savings Strategy Working Group in Abuja, urged members to develop easy instruments that are safe and capable of attracting ordinary Nigerians to key into the strategy. She expressed optimism that current efforts to reveal the master plan to align assumptions and projections will redefine the roadmap for stakeholder participation in the Nigerian capital market. And on the international scene, pubs, hotels, and museums to reopen in Britain amidst major coronavirus lockdown, Prime Minister says. Pubs, restaurants, hotels, museums, and a range of other non-essential businesses in the UK are set to reopen on July 4th amidst major easing of coronavirus lockdown restrictions, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced on Tuesday. Also, among the venues that will be allowed to open are libraries, places of worship, hotels, movie theaters, cafes and office cafeterias, hair salon and barbers, outdoor gyms and playgroups, bars, outdoor leisure center club, social clubs, community service centers, amongst others. And finally, on the international theme, Amazon is launching a $2 billion fund to invest in climate technologies. Amazon, on Tuesday, announced it will launch a $2 billion venture capital funds to back companies developing sustainable and decarbonizing technologies. The fund is a part of Amazon's climate pledge, announced last September, wherein the company committed to meet the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement by 2040, a decade ahead of the Paris Accord goal. That's all for the business news. Please stay tuned while we bring in our SME guest for our discussion. Welcome back. It's time for our special guest, our SME guest. He's here in the house. Chef Emeka is the CEO of Chef 365 Culinary Services and Academy. Chef Emeka has been able to put together 365 dishes on his special recipe. Chef Emeka, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you today.
Thank you.
Now, I'm looking at the fact that you were able to put together 365 special dishes, and all are original.
Yes.
Nothing has been done before. How were you able to achieve this feat?
It's actually through experience. I've been working from different hotels. I've been working as a chef in different hotels, 5-star hotels and all that. So the years I worked through those hotels, I was able to gather so many experience through cooking. So when I came out and I decided to start off mine, I started comparing those experiences and put them together, and here am I today.
So you actually on your own compiled some of these meals with the recipes that go with it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at some of your meals. Mushroom sauce, turmeric vegetable pasta with steamed chicken, burritos, shredded chicken sauce, spicy grilled tilapia, and all that. I'm particular about the turmeric vegetable pasta with steamed chicken. What does it contain and how is it prepared?
Is more of an Italian dishes, because Italians deal on pastas more. They eat pastas more. Pastas is like talking about spaghetti, macaroni, noodles, and all that. So this turmeric pasta is one of their special dishes, whereby it's made up with mainly vegetables and turmeric. There's a spice called turmeric. Yeah. So when they're eating the pasta, they must smell that spice. So
there's a lot of turmeric in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of turmeric in it. So with vegetables and a spice called Vijimin, then teriyaki sauce. So put all these things together, it will give you turmeric pasta sauce.
I'm listening to some of the names that I'm not so conversant with. How do you source your ingredients and your spices?
It's there in the local dishes are there in the local market. You can get the local spices there, but most of these continental dishes you cannot get it in the local market. You get it in the supermarkets, especially ShopRite, but those things are imported. But recently, I think Nigerians are growing it there in the north right now. But most of the recipes we are using in the hotel right now is imported, because you can't find most of them in Nigeria. So, but they are very, very expensive.
So I wanted to ask that because it means that if they are imported, the prices, will be very expensive.
And most of them are canned food, actually. Most of them are canned.
Bringing it back here?
Yes, bringing
they
it back
make it
here.
in cans?
Yeah, making it in cans.
Okay, but do people actually get to order these meals here in Nigeria?
Yes, people order it. Foreigners are Nigerians, so they order it. There are a lot of foreigners in Nigeria. You can go to Chinese restaurant. In fact, the well-known hotel, Eco Hotel, go there, you see what's happening there. But like I remember a hotel I worked in Lekki there, I called Amara Suit, then Landmark Event Center, who have like 365 dishes I make every day. So if you decide to eat food with us as a customer from January 1 to December 31st, we can give you food without repeating it.
Different dishes?
Different dishes. So apart from that, we also have sections of food, whereby if you're someone that is diabetic, we can give you food that can cure diabetic gradually. If you are so obese.
So in essence, you plan meals. You
yes,
also plan meals
plan
for
meals,
people.
yes. If you're working on, if you're on diet, I remember somebody that brought her child. I said that this child is not growing fat upon all the things she's eating. You want this child to grow fat. So we have meals for that. You want to slim fit. If you want to grow fat, anyone you want, there are meals for that. So apart from giving you 365 dishes, we have also diet plans as a chef, and these are the experience you acquire growing as a chef.
Oh, interesting. So how well has the market accepted what you do? What are your customer range?
The market is there, depending on what the people are targeting.
Okay, what are some of the services you render? Do you just cook? Do you cook? Yes. Do you cook on demand, or do you have certain dishes every day? How do
I do both. I cook on demand. Party, you invite me for an event.
Okay.
I do that. I also have a set up sports in Lagos.
Okay.
Where I do small dishes, pickups, and all that. Talking of even shawarma, chicken and chips, and all that. So if you come for events, weddings, I come. I also organize hotels. Some hotels that I go to their firm, and I find out that they don't have good meals. I say I can bring more customers for you by changing your menu. So I come into the hotel, I train your staffs.
Okay. Okay, so you also organize trainings as well?
Yes. I train their staff, broaden their knowledge in cooking, give them more skills. So I also build up mini restaurants. Maybe you want to set up a restaurant, you are scared of people accepting your meals. I come in as a professional, carry my team and come in and build your restaurants. Okay. But mostly I focus on meals because this is the attraction point. So if you have a structure, an eatery or a hotel, and you don't have good meals, you will not see customers.
Do you cook the regular Nigerian dish, like rice and...
yes, I do it for occasionally, because growing to be a chef, I found out that mostly continental dishes are versatile. They are much. Nigerian meals are not that much. And I found out that I experiment more in this food. You can actually change diet with the foreign dishes. But Nigeria, after eating rice... Okay,
we have a lot of foreign combinations.
Yes. You can even do 365, I'm telling you, it's just a part. You cannot finish eating foreign dishes. They are much.
So have you been able to make a special dish with the Nigerian recipe? What we have, the yam, the... Yes.
There is a food we call tempura yam. Tempura yam, yes. It's actually coated with egg, milk, flour. So
is it the jumbo something?
No, some people call it yamarita. Some people call it yamarita. But the continental form of it is you add some what they call breadcrumbs to it. So once a foreigner is eating it, you're feeling as if I'm in my hometown. Okay. But it's actually addition of Nigerian spice. So you can have a two double taste bud. A foreigner can eat it. Someone in Nigeria can eat it. And
it will taste differently to both people.
And you will enjoy it. So, in fact, food is an experiment. I get to mean, food is an experiment. So, once we go to the kitchen, we can do anything with food.
Okay. So, what dish is your selling point? What's your special, that special dish that you are known for?
That is this food I love most, jambalaya rice.
Jambalaya.
Jambalaya rice, yes. The food is so rich. It's an advanced jollof rice. You know jollof rice in Nigeria?
Yes, I know.
Yes, jollof rice in Nigeria. This jambalaya rice is so rich.
Is it prepared with the local rice or?
Yes, you can prepare it with local rice, but mostly with basmati rice.
Okay.
So, but if I'm preparing for a foreigner, I prepare it with basmati rice. But if it's in Nigeria, I can do normal local rice. But this food is rich. You need to test it.
Interesting.
I love it. In fact, most people those days start calling me jambalaya chef because I love preparing it. Once some customers will come in, I need jambalaya, they will start calling me jambalaya because that is the way I play with it.
There's a special way you play with it.
Yeah.
What has been your challenges? You've done business for some time now, and the cooking business? What are some of the hoodlums that you have encountered?
The challenges. I can say, although as cooking is my career, I find more happiness cooking, whether being paid or not. If you take away cooking from me, I'm not more happy. So it's like something that runs in my blood. So I don't think there is a challenge in it, but I can say if I'm not getting more returns like financial, I'm not growing financially, I can say that is a little challenge. But without that, I don't think
passion for
it's my
you.
passion. So I don't care actually. So if I'm still surviving with it, I don't need to look up and say, I'm not getting the whole world. So it's not a challenge to me. I don't have any challenge with it. But the other area I'm looking at is that there are people. One of the things that pushed me to this career is that I come across people saying there's no job. But when I went into cooking, I found out that there are more of employment opportunities in cooking. But youths have not seen that area. Even when they go to catering school and come out, if you interview them, they cannot fit into these vacancies because once they go there, they'll teach them how to do meat pie, cake, donuts, and they cannot work in 5-star hotel. Take them to Dubai, take them to Italy. They cannot function. They will just be here. So, but as a chef, I can take you to China and give you China dishes. Take you to Italy, give you Italy dishes, Italian dishes, sorry. Yeah. If I'm in Nigeria, I'm already in Nigeria. So that one, I don't need to think about it.
Wow, interesting. Okay, I just want to ask, in respect of your hobby, your occupation, cooking. Okay. Now, I want to come to a more personal note. Now, do you think, I can see that you are still single. Okay, yeah, will it be a problem for having a wife that doesn't know how to cook?
No,
because it's quite peculiar for a man to have to know how to do all these things.
I don't think it's going to be a challenge to me because I would love to teach her. Yeah,
so you wouldn't be hindered or incubated?
I once told my mom that any wife that will come around me, I'm going to marry, I'm going to put the person on training at least for 6 months.
Cooking training?
Yes, free of charge.
Interesting.
Yes, so that I will not just get worried of what kind of dishes that will come out of my kitchen. But I don't think, maybe we'll even be dragging the kitchen.
I pray it doesn't come to that. Thank you so much, Chef Emeka.
Right,
it's been interesting talking with you.
I'm so happy.
Thank you so much. Maybe one day I would have to eat your jambalaya rice. That would be an interesting one.
You will love it.
Okay.
You will love it.
Yes, I look forward to that day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Chef Emeka, the chef with the 365 dishes that are all original. So if you're feeling you're a male and you think that there's nothing there for you to do, you can also always look to cooking. It has proved to be something that is worthwhile and also can also put some money in your pocket as well. All right, up next is Stock Market Report. Please stay tuned. Stock Market Report for close of business, 23rd of June 2020. A total of 167.9 million shares were exchanged on the floor of the stock exchange with a total valuation of 1.5 billion naira. The all-share index went down by 0.02% to close at 24,750.06 basis points. The equity capitalization stood at 12.91 trillion naira. For sectorial indices, the oil and gas sector went up by 0.22%, the banking sector went down by 0.60%, consumer goods sector went down by 1.35%, the industrial goods sector went down by 0.18%, the insurance sector went down by 1.27%. The top gainers on the floor of the stock exchange are MTN, it gained 1.9 naira to close at 118 naira, Flour Mill gained 0.3 naira to close at 20 naira, Zenith Bank gained 0.1 naira to close at 16.25 naira, UAC Properties gained 0.07 naira to close at 0.98 naira, O&O gained 0.05 naira to close at 2.5 naira. The top decliners on the floor of the stock exchange are Dangote Sugar, it lost 1.3 naira to close at 11.9 naira. Nigeria Breweries lost 1 naira to close at 3.6 naira. PZ lost 0.4 naira to close at 4.5 naira. ETI lost 0.25 naira to close at 4.65 naira. WAPCO lost 0.25 naira to close at 11 naira. For the different sectors, for the consumer goods sector, top gainers are flour mill, it gained 0.3 naira. Honeywell flour gained 0 naira. The two top decliners are Dangote Sugar, it lost 1.3 naira. Nigerian breweries lost 1 naira. For the financial services sector, the top gainers are Zenith Bank, it gained 0.1 naira. UCAP gained 0.03 naira. M Benefits gained 0 naira. The top decliners are ETI, it lost 0.25 naira. Access Bank lost 0.1 naira. UBN lost 0.1 naira. For the industrial goods sector, top gainer, the only top gainer was Dangote Cement, and it gained 0 naira, while the only decliner was WAPCO, and it lost 0.25 naira. For the oil and gas sector, the top gainers are O&O, it gained 0.05 naira. Japol Oil gained 0 naira. All other prices remain unchanged for the oil and gas sector. For the health sector, the only gainer was Fitzen, and it gained 0 naira. The three top decliners are Nimed Pharmaceuticals, it lost 0.13 naira. May and Baker lost 0.01 naira. Union Dark lost 0.01 naira. For stock activity, the most active stock was Japol Oil with a total of 25,012,372 shares. The most traded stock was Zenith Bank with a total of 298 trades. The stock with the most turnover was GTB with a total of 253.46 million naira. On the international scene, for the American index, the Dow Jones Index went up by 0.91%. The S&P 500 went up by 0.95%. The Nasdaq Index went up by 1.25%. For the European market, the FTSE 100 went up by 1.35%. The CAC 40 went up by 1.48%. DAX Index went up by 2.26%. For the Asian market, the Shanghai Index went up by 0.18%. The Nikkei 225 Index went up by 0.50%. That's all for the stock market report. Thank you.
Get more information and updates on raveng.tv. Follow and interact with us on our social media platforms using the handle @RaveTVChannel. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel @RaveTV. Download the Rave TV app on iOS, Windows, and Android to view us on the go. Rave TV. So exciting.
You're welcome back. Now, it's time to talk about unemployment in Nigeria. Unemployment in Nigeria has continued to have a rippling effect. Now, here are some interesting statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics. About 55.4% of youths between the ages of 15 to 35 are without work. Over 100 million Nigerians earn less than 700 naira a day. Nearly 10,000 PhD holders are currently unemployed. Now, the labor force grows by 4%, but jobs only grow by 1.6% amongst others. Joining me to discuss this in this segment is Ms. Queen Iwuna. She's an economic analyst and a consultant in this aspect. She'll be joining me via Skype. Good morning, Ms. Queen.
Good morning.
Good to have you today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, talking about unemployment, when you hear unemployment in Nigeria, what comes to your mind?
Well, unemployment simply refers to a situation where people who are willing and capable of working are unable to find paid employment. we have the older on where, dismissed from their job through redundancy or bankruptcy. We also have younger unemployed people who have not worked for most of their lives for this pressure. And these statistics spread out from the National Bureau of Statistics very alarming. And definitely, after last year, we had a percentage of 23.1% unemployment rate, and it's projected to be over 35% this year, perhaps more with the COVID and the pandemic, taking over the world globally.
Does it have anything to do with our education system in Nigeria? Does it have anything to do with the standard of education here in Nigeria?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, every year we churn out over 6 billion, graduates from 174 universities in Nigeria, by the the National Universities Commission. So basically, we have a lot of graduates coming on into the labor market, and then we have fewer jobs and fewer employment out there for them to, be gainfully employed. There's some other causes of youth unemployment in Nigeria. We have things like the rural urban migration, people coming into the city to look for work. We have, a rapid population growth in Nigeria. Right now, this year, we have over 200 billion Nigerians. That's population rate right now, and this tend to increase and also put a demand in the labor market, and also a demand for more resources, to have a good life here in Nigeria. Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa, and therefore there is a tendency to see a high rate of unemployment just because we have more people and we have more graduates, we have few work employment for them. There's also a lower standard of education in our schools these days. Most of our universities, they are not really teaching skills that are employable, like for instance, having the disruption in technology globally. So I think that schools right now need to look into how to teach, maybe like programming skills or digital marketing skills, because these are the jobs of the future, and take away from, absolute knowledge and be more practical and realistic, and definitely evolve into what the, global economy is going to. Because at the end of the day, if a lot of youth in Nigeria can be trained with the right technological skills, it would help them not to be just employable here in Nigeria, but all over the world through the use of, internet services.
What the governments can do, because we know that it hits the individual first before it begins to hit the economy. What do you think we as individuals should do? You are able, you're willing and able, just as you have said, to work, and you don't have anything forthcoming. Okay, so what can you do at that particular point in time? What can we do as our own contribution as individuals to the problem of unemployment?
We individuals, for those who are working, I would say that there's so many things to do. You could definitely make yourself more valuable at your job. You could, just make sure you're focusing on accomplishments. So just be volunteer for assignments, things that that you have the skill, the requisite skill to, attend to. So basically just put yourself out there, put your foot forward, show value, be focused, be visible, make your voice heard, and then obviously stay ahead of the curve and equip yourself with materials, resources, and tools and techniques that you need to be relevant, be more employable, even as the tide, the wave, moves, as we move past the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, for those who are not employed right now, they can begin to think about how they can add value to the society, how they can be of have impact, basically. So look within to ensure that something that's passionately burning a desire in their hearts and what they think they can do best at, maybe their talents, passion, and then they should use that to drive them. So basically, just start a business. The government should encourage entrepreneurship. So people need to start looking at how to, learn all the skills that you can learn in a very short term, 6 weeks, 1 month, and begin to apply yourself out there. There are just so many opportunities for youth to take advantage of their technological opportunities, making websites, rendering services to new businesses, their transportation services. I mean, these days in the with the aftermath of COVID, people are reluctant to go out there, go to the market. So you can definitely apply yourself in ways where there are all these needs and all these demands out there. The government has been doing their best with a lot of interventions on, for the entrepreneurs. So even for the corporate bodies, just like maybe the Tony Elumelu Foundation, you have Leap Africa, and just so many of them, doing their best to ensure that people are, getting access to finance, getting access to training, getting access to, people who can actually help them grow their businesses. So we need more of that from the government. We need more of, building right skills, the requisite skills for the future. Because as you know, technology is taking over. Before, we had a situation where you need people to help you translate, and now we have it on the internet for free. So you can see that there's a rapid evolution of technology. There's a rapid disruption of technology. And I think that if the youth can dive into this area to find how to be gainfully employed, not just for working for a traditional company, but even for working for companies globally, just through the internet.
Okay. Yeah, remember the phone lines are open, so you can call us to send in your questions or, of course, your contributions. We'll be eager to hear from you to know what you think about the subject of unemployment in Nigeria. Okay, back to Ms. Queen. What are some of the pitfalls of unemployment? What are some of the problems that it brings in its wake, especially in Nigeria? What are those things that come out as complications from the problem of having unemployed youths move around in Nigeria?
Okay, I'm sorry. So what are some of the causes of unemployment?
What are some of the problems associated with unemployment?
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so basically unemployment in Nigeria brings about a lot of, negative effects. And one of that you could see could be inequality in income. So just as you rightfully said, the National Bureau of Statistics has, said that 65% of the wealth in Nigeria is owned by just 20% of the population. So you can see that there's a huge difference in the income rate of Nigerians. So then you can see that there are more rich than poor, and with that comes a lot of insecurity. So you have all this youths who are very intelligent and have no work to apply this knowledge to. They go about in different vices, with the Boko Haram, stealing, killing, all these crimes. These are things that unemployment can do in our country today, and it really has brought a lot of negative impacts because the foreign investments have decreased as a result of the insecurity rate in Nigeria that is increasing at an alarming rate. There's also the decrease of quality of life. I mean, if you don't have money for your basic needs, you can't make do in your family. And just imagine a family man who has children. How does he cater for their needs, their food, their education, their clothing? These are just basic needs that we need to have. And with alarming rate of unemployment out there, you can now see that the poor are getting poorer. So there's a lot of tension, conflict, stress out there in society, and it could really, break out into a war, into a riot, and that's just certainly what we don't want. So there's going to be a decline of shelter, education, healthcare. There's increase in malnutrition. It just definitely has a negative effect, and I think the government needs to, step in and
Lagos,
see how we could
we have
change
a
the
call.
narrative.
Good morning, Ada. Good morning, Ada. Hello, Ada. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. What's your question or your contribution? Okay, looks like we have a little network issue there. All right, Ms. Queen, yeah, you can go ahead with what you were saying with income.
Yeah, so I said that the effect of unemployment in Nigeria would see a spike in a decrease in, an increase in poverty rate. So, if you can't make ends meet, you don't have enough money to take care of your family, then you're just going to be an influx of, tension, insecurity. So just youth out there running around the streets, causing crimes and, engaging into different vices that are unhealthy for both them and the society at large. So you say decrease in education, because if you can't feed yourself, why would you want to pay school fees for your children? And these are part of the damaging effects that unemployment has in our society today. Even the decrease in healthcare, and just life in general, the quality and the standard of living would just definitely see a drop. And that's something we don't want. And also with the insecurity in the north, just not just in the north, everywhere in the country now, with the onslaught of Boko Haram and these other crime gangs and things going on. This is something that unemployment can do, and we need to find a way to change the narrative.
About education. Now, what skills do you think can be included in our curriculum? Because having a problem of unemployment, we also have the issue of underemployment. But that's, so how do we tackle the issue of having some courses that are not workable now, given the present scenario, what we have presently? So what are some of those courses or skills that can be imputed into our education system, especially at the university level?
Yeah, so certainly, we have a lot of universities in Nigeria right now at 174. That's a large number, and we churn out, millions of graduates every year. I think that to compete globally, our universities have to, begin to innovate and find ways to improve their curriculum to, taking things like entrepreneurship. So basically, if you come out of the school and there's no job, are you going to just keep waiting and keep applying? So you need to also find a way to use the skill that you have and render services out there. So we need to encourage a lot of entrepreneurship for people to know that, okay, look, I can start a business. So basically, we need this kind of classes on what it entails to start a business, how to write a business proposal, how to develop a niche for yourself, things like that. That's what the schools need to begin to look into, and the people need to also look into technology, because technology is not going to end. In fact, technology is going to outperform man, and the only way we can thrive is to work with technology. So basically, from the very tender age children, even in secondary schools, they need to begin to take on these skills, even up to the oldest people, because time will come where you come for an interview and the first question they ask you is, can you program? That's where we're going to right now in Nigeria, and that's also where the world is going to right now. So there's a whole lot of skills that need to be learned, like programming, web development. I mean, right now you can attest to the fact that a lot of us, we spend time on our phones, we spend time browsing, we spend time on social media. So this kind of skills that would take advantage of the trends out there, so social marketing skills, web design, programming, so knowing how to automate your processes at work, because no longer are we going to continue to do mundane things. We need to now begin to learn how to automate this work, because the more we can automate the work processes, the more we can become productive in our work, and the more the business can make more money, right? So you see that the more we can actually even become sustainable in Nigeria, we churn out more goods and produce just because of this higher productivity. And these are all, facilitated by technology. So I believe that for our universities out there, we need to look at how to integrate technology in basically all our courses, how to redesign this curriculum to ensure that technology is a core that our students are taking, and also entrepreneurship skills in how to start businesses and be self-sufficient.
Remember, you can call us. The phone lines are open for your questions and, of course, your contributions. We are waiting to hear from you. Okay, for the employees, what's your take on the fact that most times they ask for work experience? Do you think this could be a contributory factor?
Sorry, could you say that again?
The requirement of work experience from employees. Do you think this could be a contributory factor to the problem of unemployment?
The problem of...
The requirement of work experience.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
No, I'm sorry, just one more time.
Okay, I said the requirements from from employers rather, of work experience. Do you think this could be a contributory factor to unemployment?
Yes, absolutely. So, again, there is a need to, increase your skill. I mean, there's no skill that is wasted. I say that again, there's no skill that is of no value. There's always something you can apply yourself towards. When you're applying for a job, it's always good to have added skills more than the job actually requires, and that even makes you more appealing to your employer, and make you more employable out there. I think that for individuals who are in the job market right now, they can begin to work on their resume. They can begin to take classes. Don't be idle. Just begin to take classes, find out how you can improve yourself. Take even classes on how to work well with your colleagues, because sometimes you might have it upstairs, you might be very intelligent, but you lack people management skills. So I think that not just skills appropriate for the work itself, but even learning how to manage people and work with people, because you can't do without people here on earth. So I think these are skills that they can begin to have. Employers can also begin to do on-the-job training. So if someone doesn't have the requisite skill, you can just hire them and take them through like an onboarding session and train them with the right skills. And that also help you as an employer, help your business also in the long run. And for employees that come in and there are constant trainings and capacity building, you find out that those employees, they stay with the company for the long haul. And these are things that companies should begin to do to invest in their employees, because the wave of the labor market is changing, the wave of jobs are changing. So you need to also get your staff employed, get your staff employable skills. So you need them to help your business grow by teaching them relevant skills that apply in our day and also for the future of work.
Okay, we have a question from Ada. She's asking, why do students graduate from university with good degrees, yet they find it difficult to get a job?
So she said, I'm going to say that
they have degrees and the skills, yet they find it difficult to get a job. What's the reason behind that?
So when they graduate and they have good skills, but yet not able to find a job, is that the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay, well, this can be attributed to so many things. It depends on what degree you studied, but nonetheless, regardless of that, I think looking at what is in need, in demand, what is in high demand right now, and applying yourself to it. I can't overemphasize the need to become technologically savvy. It's really going to help you in every way. Every way. I don't know, regardless, even if it's agriculture you studied or communications or sociology, whatever it is that you've studied, I think you can't do without getting yourself technological skills. There are plenty avenues out there for you to learn this skill. You need to just basically look at maybe just your what's your interest, and also what the demand is out there. Where is what kind of jobs can you find out there? You don't need to look for jobs for months. You don't need to sit at home just looking for jobs for a month. You can begin to take classes and you can begin to apply yourself in these areas. So basically, you can just start a website, build a website. It's very easy. It's also low cost, right? So build a website and start offering the services or the knowledge that you know. Open a blog, write a blog, make yourself useful. Don't sit down there and be idle. So just engage yourself in things you can do. You went to school for 4 years minimum, and you can take this knowledge that you have and begin to apply it and begin to, write articles. You can begin to research. There's so many things you can do. There's so many things out there you can do. You don't need to wait for an employer to hire you. You can stay where you are right now. You can open up a business. There's so many things you can do. Ideas rule the world. Power doesn't rule the world. It's just ideas. We're fueled by ideas. So begin to innovate. Begin to find out ways whereby you can apply the knowledge that you have versus this. Also with a passion and the drive that you have. Just search within. There's something you can do that the world is in need of. Only you can do what you can do. No one can do what you can do. Everybody on earth, we're created for a purpose. We all have, a destiny to fulfill. So search within, find that thing, and just, develop yourself and run with it. I'm telling you, with time, you have employees under you, or better still, you become even more attractive to an employer.
Okay, just finally, one last word. Do you think gender bias or gender inequality has anything to do with the issue of unemployment? There are some certain jobs that men do and that women do. Do you think that in organizations that women are not having enough, they are not having opportunity to get into some of these major positions? Do you think there's a problem with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That exists. The gender inequality exists in our world today, especially in Nigeria, where we have a lot of our women, in the house and, having to, take care of their children, having to take care of the family. So we tend to see jobs also that are more geared towards men, maybe like engineering jobs, jobs that require a lot of lifting. So it definitely exists. But one thing that we women can do again is to equip ourselves. Look at Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I mean, this woman is really smart, and you can see a lot of appointments coming her way year in, year out. So one thing you can say about her that she's well educated. So if we can find a way to educate women, find a way to educate our female children, the sky is the starting point. At the end of the day, an employer would not hire a male over a female just based on gender per se. It's all about what they can offer. So I think our women should begin to put themselves out there, begin to educate themselves, and take on courses or classes that would help them to, provide value to our world today. You begin to see what they can do, despite what it is, even if it's cooking. I mean, you can see some cooking classes online. Even the last session we just had talked about cooking skills. There's nothing that can limit a woman. Women are they're very multitasking. They can do so many things, and I think you can still manage your family and you can still, provide value and impact in your world today. So basically, I just encourage the women to apply themselves and begin to educate themselves and take courses that are relevant in our society today. And by so doing, they will be able to impact not just their family, not just themselves, but society at large.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Queen. That was really informative. Thank you. I really enjoyed and I learned a lot from this discussion. Thank you so much. We hope to see you next time. Thank you. All right, that was Ms. Queen. She's an economic and a financial analyst. We're talking of unemployment, and the key things I think we should take home is to be mindful of the fact that the government cannot do everything for you. So keep training and retraining yourself, and always remember that you must be able to improve your qualifications. So don't depend on what you have read or what you have studied. You can always develop new skills. You can always develop new abilities, so to speak, and always find things to do. Just keep moving and keep pushing, and somehow you'll find something out there. So it's not the fact that you're not employed or you don't have something doesn't mean that you should indulge yourself in vices. So the key is always to be positive and remember that you can start something by being passionate about it, and you always have an attitude that is forward moving. All right, that's all for today. Thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for listening. Thank you for those who asked questions and had contributions. Remember that you can follow us via any of our social media handles at Rave TV. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. And as always, I remain Cindy Eze. Remember, your business is always our business.